And here we are. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello,
Thanks
hello.
Hey, I see faces. That's
There you
awesome.
go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to meet with us this afternoon for our FURNAL EQUINOX and AEO Open Forum. We hope that all of you are keeping well and staying safe throughout the last several months. It's obviously been a very interesting several months for all of us at this point in different ways, but nonetheless, we do hope that you're keeping safe nonetheless. We wanted to take this opportunity to connect with you as more than just some message on Twitter or Facebook through our website, but as actual people who can walk and talk and be fuzzy animals sometimes, and give you some updates on some things that are going on as we move into the month of October and start looking forward to 2021. So with that, I'm going to introduce our panel for today's session. First of all, I'm Scani. I am the president of Anthropomorphic Events of Ontario, which is the organization that, kind of the umbrella organization for FURNAL EQUINOX and other events initiatives, such as FURNAL SOLSTICE and other initiatives that we run in our community. I'll turn it over to Aidan for introductions on his end.
All right. I'm Aidan Aranor. I am the chair of FURNAL EQUINOX, so I'm the guy who gets to talk about all the FE stuff. But yeah, no, pleased to have everyone here. I was on the last open forum and looking forward to another, list of good questions. So cool. And Skylar?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name's Skylar. I'm one of the AEO board members. This is my first time doing an open forum with you guys, so I'm very excited to answer any questions that you guys may have about what's coming in the future and what our plans are and how we're sort of adapting post-COVID life.
Thanks very much. I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge a couple of contributors behind the scenes, both of whom come from FE staff. First of all, I want to thank Avalanche, who serves as FE's head of communications, who supported us back behind the scenes with communications, some of the communications work around promoting this, and some additional support. And I also want to thank Iglipoo as well, who provided some valuable artistic support and branding support in the lead up to this event as well. So thank you to Avalanche and to Igli for the assistance, and to all of the board members who contributed to this afternoon session. I'm now going to do the screen share thing, and hopefully it works. You're going to see a pretty slide coming up in the next few moments if all works correctly, which I do believe has now happened.
Oh,
and at this point, held on. See, technical issues. See, this is why we started 5 minutes
my
early.
fault.
Well,
Okay.
That's okay. I mean, to be fair, we started a few minutes.
I got it.
A
There you
few
go.
minutes at the furry standard time,
Yeah,
but
go for it.
I digress.
Go for it.
Yep.
It's all good. I just had to change this.
All good. All good. Are we sharing?
Yep.
I thought we were sharing.
Yep. You're all good.
Cool. All right. So just running through the things that we want to cover off in today's session. First of all is an update on FURNAL SOLSTICE, which would be coming up in the month of December. Second, I'll turn the floor over to Aidan for an update on FURNAL EQUINOX. There are a number of things that the FE team has been working on over the past several months that we're looking forward to giving you an update about. I know we've kind of alluded to, I don't think it's quite what what people are going to be expecting us to messaging on, but we hope we'll be able to put people at ease nonetheless. And last but not least, and I believe Skylar will be taking this point, we are doing on some fundraising work to help to provide some opportunities for the community to support us at this time, and we'll be providing you some further details on that. Last but not least, we are going to open this up to a Q&A at the end of the session. This is the same format as we did with our open forum back in April. And you can submit questions now through Slido. So all you have to do is go to the website slido.com. You have the opportunity to enter an event link. Ours is AEO Open Forum 2. Once again, that's AEO Open Forum 2. Alternatively, because it's 2020 and technology is awesome, you can also scan the QR code that you see on your screen right now, and that will take you directly to the question, and that will take you directly to the question page.
Oh no!
And also,
hold on, 1 minute. For some reason, even though it's not on here, I'm having my screen, my stream noises come up on here, and I'm not sure why. Okay, hopefully it won't happen anymore. Go ahead.
Buddy, welcome to the challenges of live broadcasting. Just while we kind of vamp and work through these pieces.
I've also placed the link in chat to ask questions on the Slido.
Yes.
If they want.
Yes. So you can click the link. You can scan the QR code using your cell phone. That'll take you directly there. One thing to note as well: have a look through and see if your question has already been answered, or have already been answered. If it has, consider upvoting it. Because that helps bring it to the top of the page, because we will answer the questions that are the most upvoted first. Yeah. Also, a couple of housekeeping notes. Please be nice. Keep it courteous. We are human beings, and sometimes fluffy animals on this side of the screen, and we appreciate the courtesy all around. And also, kind of keep it relevant to the discussion as well. And this will help us keep the time focused on answering the questions that are most relevant to everybody. So thanks very much. And with that, we'll move on to our first point, which is an update on Infernal Solstice. So for those of us, I know we're servicing a community, and I'm sure we have people from all over the world tuning in and joining us right now. But for those that aren't from, and I know that many of us are watching from somewhere in Ontario right now. For those, whether out of province or in province, I'll just kind of recap what our current circumstances look like. As you know, we are seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases throughout the province of Ontario at the moment, and it's specifically been concentrated in hotspots such as Toronto, and other parts of the GTA, as well as in Ottawa. Last month, the province of Ontario decided to reduce the gathering limits down to 10 people for indoor events and 25 people for outdoor events. In addition, over the past few weeks, we have seen a number of different regions, including Toronto, Peel region, and Ottawa, and most recently York region, that have been moved to a modified stage 2, where additional restrictions are in place. It's going to come as no surprise to anybody that this is a very difficult environment to be running an in-person event and I want to let everybody know that we will not be running an in-person Infernal Solstice event this year. Obviously, this is a decision for us to have to make. It is very much tradition for us, but it is the right decision to make in the interests of preserving our community's health and safety. Now,
I miss snowstorms being our biggest problem from last year.
Yeah,
I was really Last year was nothing short of amazing. The fact that we got 100 plus people showing up despite a driving snowstorm was quite impressive. We know that
usually the biggest thing we had to worry about is how we're going to get all the equipment there in like 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, for sure. But the good news is we know that this event plays a really key role. For many people in our community, this is an opportunity to connect with chosen family, and so we want to keep some of those traditions going. As such, we do want to run some parts of Infernal Solstice programming through a more virtual or distant environment, such as our gift exchange, which we feel can still be done remotely. To that end, we are looking for help. So if you are willing to volunteer to help out with such initiatives, or you have ideas with programming that we can do, reach out to us. We've set up an email address, solstice@anthroeventsont.org, or you can reach out to us on social media. We are AnthroEventsON, both on Twitter and on Facebook. Once again, to reiterate, we are not having a Infernal Solstice in-person event this year, but we do plan to run some pieces of it in a more distanced manner. And if you can help us out with this, we'd really appreciate that. If you have any questions about this, feel free to go on to Slido and ask, and we'll get to them as time permits. With that, I will turn it over to Aidan to provide us some updates on FURNAL EQUINOX.
All right. So I realized I had the slide deck in front of me before, and I had notes in there because that was smart.
Quick.
There we go.
Quick dance.
I got it. I got this. Moving on. Yeah, so FURNAL EQUINOX, since our cancellation, I think a lot of people were very concerned. I know we had a lot of things going on at that time. I think we were trying to figure out the best path forward. We did come out of it in a very good position from perspective of, you know, how we wrapped out the year, even though we didn't really have an event. But yeah, our attendee generosity, everyone's understanding, the fact that people were like, no, you know, either keep my reg valid for next year, or, you know, just, you know, don't worry about it, just keep the money or whatever. We were blown away by the amount of support we received. Yeah. So I think we're in the best position we could be as a result of that.
Sorry, hold on. Just wait a minute, Aidan. I'm muting. Sorry, go ahead.
Also to point out as well, we had over 200 people reach out to us requesting to donate their registrations back to the organization. When I had to look through the list after the fact, Aidan can vouch that I said, I want to hug all of these people.
Yes,
Aidan was like,
yes,
you can't do that in this environment. I said,
I was also there, and I remember this.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're so appreciative of the generosity and the understanding that people have, and we will continue to be relying upon that. So thank you for your support in the moment and your ongoing support. Sorry, go ahead, Aidan.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, and we're in a pretty decent position, having like a convention ready to go whenever it becomes safe to do so, and some funds that we can use to see ourselves through. But one of the considerations is, with every year that we don't put on an event, we do have expenses. We have a variety of things that we have to pay every year, stuff like web hosting, things that make sense for us to pay. And so that lifeline, which again was crucial for us, is something that's limited. So that's a thing for us to be aware of. So we're stable. We're not like running screaming into the countryside. We're good. But yeah, with COVID, especially, you know, we've talked about Solstice already, but looking at the rest of the year, it's a question of, where are we going to go from here? What's the situation going to be? What's going to be the situation in January, where we've pushed back our registration dates to January, February, because we just don't know. So it is worth noting that we are currently in negotiation with the hotel to figure out what our go forward plan is. We don't have any definitive decisions at this point in time to share, but I suspect that those will be coming along sometime within the next month. So we won't have to sit idle until January. Just, you know, that process is ongoing, and we'll keep you informed as we proceed. So there will be further updates forthcoming. If you have found, and this is one of those things kind of speaking towards, you know, the fact that we do have some funds at this point in time. If you've found that your situation has changed, because this is ongoing, I think we're all dealing with this, we are still technically open for refunds. So if you find, oh, you know what, I wanted to keep my registration rolled over, you can still ping our registration team to get a refund for your registration, and, you know, we'll take those tickets as they come in. So definitely want to be understanding of everyone's situation, and you of ours. All right, next slide. All right, cool. So in the meantime, because we're not running a physical event and we really don't know what to do with ourselves, we're taking a look at other things. We're doing some updates to the website, which should be live ideally by the end of this call. So it'll have a new look and feel, some simplicity, some communication changes on the website. So feel free to check that out. Also, we're going to we're also looking for additional bodies to help with the website. So if you have any website experience and such, there's going to be a new volunteer application form on the site. So you're welcome to go take a look at the things we're hiring for, whether it's a copywriter, whether it's someone who manages web interfaces and such. Feel free to put your application in. We're always happy to have more hands on deck, and especially with something like this, it's great to throw on a resume too. So because it's something that that, our website's going to be around for a while. So if you want to say, oh, I worked on this website, you can point people at it and say, as opposed to, just some little pet project. So yeah, love to see other people help us out with that. But yeah, that's it for the website. Code of conduct. Okay. So it seems like forever ago. I think it was only a couple months. One of the things that we've recently talked about was diversity in the fandom, and a number of events are taking a look at this. We've been doing fairly specific outreach. We've reached out to a number of people. We also still have a email address set aside for suggestions or input in a kind of a reactive approach too. So while we are reaching out to individuals, people who are experts in basically diversity, we're also looking for anyone to provide suggestions or feedback and such. One of the things that we've probably been working on most heavily is some updates to our code of conduct. So that is a pretty significant change. In reality, it's going to be additions, not necessarily changing any of the things that to be part of our code of conduct as it stands. So things like, how does registration work, or how do I am I allowed to run around without clothes on? No, probably not going to change. But there are going to be some additions that we're going to be introducing in the next few months, and we will be providing email notifications and basically as many options as we can to let people know what the changes are, how they impact them, and so that they can be well informed. Because this is a code of conduct that our attendees basically sign when they register. So a change to it, while we're able to change it, we have to make sure that everyone's informed. So we'll be taking care of that in the near future. Right now, we're working to make sure our wording is correct and everything is presented clearly and cleanly. So that should be forthcoming soon. All right. Here goes into some interesting stuff. We are actively looking at virtualization of our event. So while we are not doing anything dire right now, this does require effort and time and figuring out options and figuring out what will work, what won't work, etc. Working with departments to see how the best way forward is. It's very important that we consider this, even if we're not certain right this second. And as part of that, we're actually interested in getting other people's ideas, especially because we've been running a brick and mortar convention for, I want to say 10 years. It has been 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 11, right? Yeah. We'll eventually get to the 11th. It'll be fine. So we've been running a brick and mortar event for so long, but there's a lot of things that doesn't take into account for like virtual environments, bless the guys in the FURNAL EQUINOX chat, like the managing all of the communication and all that other stuff. They've got experience that trumps ours in spades for social adminning and managing discourse and stuff like that. So it's really a different set of skills to run a virtual event. So if you have any experience with virtualizing physical events, if you do streaming and you get like, oh, there's this really cool tool or this other stuff that I use. We do have a email address set up for this to basically send some questions, say, hey, I want to help out, say I've got this particular experience or I've seen this tool. You don't even necessarily have to walk in and kick down the door and say, all right, I'm part of the team. You can just come in and say, hey, this is a cool idea.
if you have experience working in VR chat or anything like that,
exactly.
Anything would be fantastic.
Yep. No. Yeah, that's good. No set decisions at this point, but it's definitely we are interested in people's feedback. I honestly, personally, I feel that this kind of approach, like virtualization of events, can get a little dry, and it's not the same as a physical convention. Don't get me wrong, but I could see us as we start to bring back physical events, as we start to get back into the swing of things. I could see virtualization still being a part of that. So if you're interested in pushing ahead with what we were interested in tackling with virtualization, please let us know. All right.
Great.
Okay, so this is where I think I take over here. Okay, so we have a few fundraising opportunities of things that if you're feeling so kind or you want some really cool limited edition stuff, we have some options here. So we have a brand new AEO branded t-shirt that was designed by the lovely Knickknack, who is also on our board. I'm gonna I'm gonna get her Twitter. I'm gonna drop it in chat as well. I'm gonna do that.
Knickknack044, I believe.
Knickknack044.
Yes.
Okay, I'll find it in a minute.
Knickknack is awesome. Yeah, so big thank you, big bless
thank you.
to Knickknack for her work on this.
She designed this pro bono for us, which was so super lovely. There's only 75 of these shirts available. We produced all these shirts and these pins with sort of leftover credits that we had with these companies that we normally use to print FE branded shirts every year and pins. So this is sort of where. This is why we only have a limited supply of them. So we have 75 of them. They're only 30 Canadian each. They come in all the different sizes as well. Does that mean we don't have small sizes in these shirts? They're only mediums? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did some basing of the sizes off of our attendee quantities. So unfortunately, that means we don't have full representation of the sizes.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, we get like an awesome skyline and a trash panda holding on to the CN Tower there. If you're a Torontonian, you know exactly what that is. And you know that the raccoon is definitely the crown jewel animal of Toronto. And we also have a really cool custom FE 2020 pin. We previously sort these from char pins for 2020, but we sort of managed to repurpose them for these fundraising events. We have 150 of those available, and they're priced at 20 Canadian. And then for future, we have some like sort of special online opportunities that we're still kind of working on. We have new pins for our guest honor stuff that's gonna be closer to the holidays coming out. So yeah, all this information is gonna be on our website, and we're gonna announce all these further fundraising opportunities as they come up on our Twitter and on our website as well.
I realize we have a picture of the shirt, but we do not have a picture of the pin, so I'm just going to hold it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we may want to.
We got a better detail one on our website.
Wait, hold up again. Just hold in front of the camera.
Hold up.
Okay. Just wait. It will adjust.
It's snazzy.
Come back a little bit.
My camera's terrible too. So there's that.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
There you go. We can see
this will be on the. Yeah, this will be on the new website as well. There will be some awesome pictures. We got a local who did some. One of our team members, Azimuth, got to give him credit too. Was able to get some nice pictures of it for our new website design and show that there with details. The purchasing links will be coming up shortly. But yeah, definitely will be coming out soon, and we'll give a little bit of an announcement post when that does so. So yeah. Great, cool stuff.
And we definitely encourage, please consider supporting. We know the big thing is, as Aiden said right at the front of our discussion, there are certain expenses that we don't really, there are certain expenses that we kind of incur deferring the con for a year and keeping the lights on in the meantime. And things like this help us to kind of mitigate that and put us in a healthy position going forward. So please consider supporting. Really will help us out a great deal.
Plus these pins are just too awesome to stay in a box for another.
Aiden, hold on. Try to hold up again and put your hand in front of it. Do the whole beauty guru thing like that. So put your
like this, like
no,
this,
no,
like
like
that,
this.
yeah?
No. You have to put your hand behind it so that the camera shifts focus.
Oh God, I can't. I this is my broken finger.
Oh, we can see it better now. There you go.
There we go. Okay, good. It's
terrible.
terrible.
Do the whole beauty guru thing whenever they show off.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I've also put the link to Knickknack's Twitter in the chat. Awesome. So she's a fantastic artist. So I'm gonna go check out her other work as well.
Yes, please do. She's regularly open for streams, for commissions. She's been selling some pretty awesome face masks over the course of the pandemic. So yes, please do support. Hey,
a little hot.
That's awesome.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Really
so
cute.
we've covered off pretty much all that we wanted to share, and it only took us about 30 minutes to do that. Wonderful. So with that in mind, I think we can shift gears and head over to the Q&A part of hey, of course, big horse energy.
Oh my God.
I went there.
I love it and I hate it at the same time.
This is the biggest thing that makes me consider quitting the board.
What?
All right. If you have any questions that you want to ask, so once again, you can go to slido.com, and our event code is AEO Open Forum 2, or you can select this hashtag or this QR code, on the right side of your screen. I am going to dump this out of the way in a moment and switch us over to the thing that shows questions. That's what it does.
So,
See,
hi guys, I wasn't on video or
set
voice
of
before.
questions so far. So hopefully
yeah, I'm jumping on to kind of help
Hey,
out with the
Avalanche.
questions here.
Oh.
Hi, yeah, I exist.
Anyways,
Yeah, I'm just kind of curating the questions
Hi.
here, and we've been getting some
Yeah,
stuff done. So, yeah, go ahead, Skinner. You want me to just read them off? Or?
Thanks to Avalanche for kind of helping us curate. I'm also throwing them on screen as well.
Oh,
if we're good
well,
with that.
never mind.
Oh, you want to throw them?
You could please, yeah,
Okay.
by all means, and you can kind of highlight them as we go. So,
Sure.
words. Okay. But Avalanche, please feel free to read stuff off because
Okay.
I know vision might be a little bit of a challenge for some. So I figure having the audio piece as well will probably be helpful.
Mm-hmm. All right.
There we go.
So. There we go. We're starting to show up. Yeah. Doing.
Why is this ordered by
Here's the
upvotes? I
myth,
guess
the
so.
legend. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's ordered by number of likes, number of upvotes. So again,
Okay.
have a look through, make sure the question hasn't already been answered. If it has been answered, please go ahead and upvote an existing one.
All right, let's head it off. Do we like pie? Do I like pie? I like pie. I like strawberry rhubarb.
Pie too. Yeah, I like pie too. It's great.
I also like pie. I think that I found out pumpkin pie is very underrated. I didn't realize how many people were pumpkin pie haters until this Thanksgiving
really?
when I made a pumpkin pie, and everyone was like, "Well, that's kind of a second-rate pie," and I was like,
Pecan though. Pecan.
Pecan
I
is
like
just-
Pecan. Okay, listen.
Can't touch.
Pecan is just a bunch of sugar. That's
Wait,
all
all
we're
right.
eating.
Why?
It's sugar pie with some nuts on top. Yeah, but it's good.
Okay, listen. Do not hate on pecan pie.
You're
No hating on pecan
you
pie.
know you're
Thank you
just
very
using
much.
pecan pie as an excuse to just like load brown sugar into your mouth. Okay, like it ain't that special.
Timmy has successfully diverted the conversation.
Maybe.
So
You might be right.
So as far as the current plans, I think I think when discussing with the hotel, I think we're looking at what the options are for putting ourselves in a situation where, like, if we need to delay or if we need to move to another year, those are options. But it's a question of like what's best for both of us. So we don't have a specific plan right now, but right now we're evaluating the options available. So I don't want to come out and say that we're canceled, but at the same time, if we're in a situation in January, February like we are now, I don't know that I'd really want to be running a con for people's health sakes. So we'll see. We'll see.
Sort of the bottom line now is that in terms of all the questions about will FE 2021 be happening, we just don't know right now.
Yep.
It's
But we're working on it.
We're working on it. It's just a bit
Exactly.
too far off to say for sure. With COVID, everything just kind of very much can change month to month, and we're just not sure right now. So we don't want to say for sure it's canceled or for sure it's going on when there's so much uncertainty with all the rules and regulations and the case numbers.
But there are some good questions here, like in the event that, like as some people are saying here, in the event that we do cancel, in those circumstances, we'd have to talk with our departments and such. I suspect, and I'm speaking on my own behalf, but I think that a lot of our staff team is going to be quite agreeing with this. If we do have to cancel once again, we will likely keep the theme again.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just doesn't make sense. We've got all these awesome things in the swag store and all this other stuff and sponsor stuff. Yeah, we're not gonna go. It's a waste. Plus, it's awesome.
Yeah. So you guys know what that means. That means you guys have had a whole extra year to get ready to prepare for our theme. So we want to see some cool retro rewind stuff.
But if we do delay another year and we do take advantage of this virtual concept that we're trying to do, if we go into a virtual event, like maybe we do cyberpunk retro, or maybe we do some other variation on the theme, like it can be pretty fun. I think like all the years of retro until we finally can move into the future. Who knows?
Retro Rewind 2.1, 2.2, 2.3.
Yeah.
Retro,
Like,
rewind, rewind, rewind.
all the software engineers
Retro,
are probably
retro,
just
retro,
cringing
retro,
at me
rewind.
saying that.
Take 5. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think for registrations that are rolled forward, yeah, realistically they're going to stay rolled forward. I don't see any reason why we would like do anything else. I mean that does require a lot of trust on the behalf of the attendees. So like if we're like, okay, well, we canceled a year, now we canceled again. It's like, okay, you got to stick with us for 2 years. So it's a good question to ask. My ideal personally, as a convention, as one of the convention leaders, I would want to stay true to those commitments that we've already made. I think that's basically you've signed up for a con and we're going to give it to you when it's safe.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah, and I would like to echo that as well. If you've paid for registration and have rolled it forward in expectation that we will deliver you an event, whether that is in 2021 or 2022 or whenever that is, our intention is that we will hold the fort, and when the time comes that we can safely deliver you an event, we'll deliver you an event.
Yep.
Yep, for sure.
Would you move later in the year? That's an interesting question. It would be interesting. It'd be interesting to turn Furnal Equinox into a Furnal Fall thing or Furnal something else. But I think that it's more likely. I think, and again, depending on what options are presented to us, it's more likely that I would see us taking another year. Just because we thought we were just at the beginning of things. Like we just canceled as things were starting to shut down, and a year later we're not sure it's going to be okay. So maybe another year is not so bad an idea. So
yeah,
I'm just going to step in here because I think Avalanche needs to kind of talk. I think we've kind of been answering questions as we go.
Oh
and
shit! Sorry.
Oh, good.
Kind of
You
yeah.
got the steam,
I've
man.
been
Keep
picking and
charging
choosing.
forward.
No,
Go do the thing.
We've got momentum here.
Yeah.
So I think we answered what are the current plans regarding the pandemic, and if FE is canceled again in March. And I believe we've also answered what are the plans for registrations that are rolled forward or is transferable. So that we'd continue to honor those. So I think Avalanche, we can archive those questions in Slido and grab the next 3, or not archive, but Mark answered.
Mark is answered. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
There we go.
So this is the one that it doesn't seem like we. I mean, I guess we did kind of answer.
I'll let Avalanche ask the question and
sure.
highlight.
So you can speak to it or just reference the point in the presentation where you already talked about this. Timmy, once again, with all the great questions, asks, if you have to cancel your event in March, what could we expect to see going forward? Any thoughts on maybe a virtual event similar to Keeps Calm Con? So I know we were talking about this, and this has kind of been the back and forth that we've sort of had, but and I know we've kind of discussed some of the virtual stuff. So there's a lot of stuff on the table. We're just kind of assessing the options. Is that kind of safe to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that too. I would also kind of like, I would echo what Aiden said before, is that like if we were to move to a virtual event, it would definitely be the kind of thing where we would reach out more for the community's help and support putting that on, because it's a very different skill set to put on a virtual online event than it is to run an in-person event. I think most of our skill sets are very tuned to, like, you know, organizing things in person and setting up and things logistically that way. But we would definitely need more like people who are familiar with doing like streaming and things like VR chat and like, you know, like at home camera work and all these different things. So if that were to happen, it would definitely be a big sort of community effort to put that on.
For sure.
And pointing to Keep Calm Con, like Eva Chu and Nick Knack and their entire group, like they put that thing together in a week.
So quickly, yeah.
So I think I threw as much as I could at them to help them out as I could, and that wasn't a lot, but like kudos to them.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're looking for input from people considering a virtual event and talking to people about virtualization now, because if we got to prep one, that gives us a few months at least.
I think that and just kind of expanding upon Aiden's point, I think expanding upon Aiden's point, the nice thing about a virtual event with the timing that we have, to Aiden's point, when FE 2020 couldn't happen, we had virtually no time to put together any sort of virtual equivalent. Subsequent conventions that have happened later in the year and been able to run their events have had more time to put things together. So we knowing that it's 5 months out before we would deliver something like this, we want to be asking the community, what would you like to see? How do we make this as good of an experience as we possibly
Right.
can? I'm seeing comments in the chat around accessibility and, how do we kind of, with some people, VR is not nearly as accessible an experience. And we want to be able to offer opportunities to people that kind of cover people in all those different situations.
Yep.
So,
Leo's
that-
being a butt.
I like butts. I'm here to be a butt. Do you like my butt?
I like you
That's a
being a butt, Leo. It's fine.
Great question.
keep on being a bud, Leo. Doing great.
Great.
Yep.
We should check some of these off because I think there's a couple.
Yeah, I
other
think we
interesting
can.
ones there.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
can.
I'm working on it. Yeah. Okay.
I think the next one is
so
Forest.
yeah, we kind of talked about the virtual event.
Yes.
So
in
the
vendor
borders,
features,
there's been a
safe to
couple of
host.
questions on this. Yeah, in the event that the convention is declared safe to host, but some of the borders are still
Good
closed,
question.
what is the plan then regarding international attendees?
Well, I'm
Um,
certainly not going to encourage people to smuggle Americans across the border.
Yeah, I've
Much as we'd like to go.
I guess I can kind of speak to this too because this is something that I brought up at our last meeting as
Mhm.
well. That's something that we have already begun discussing. So we are definitely conscious of that issue because we know that could be a very real issue that we'd have to face. Currently, right now, I think what was it, Scanny? 83% of our attendees are Canadian.
I think
I believe
81,
somewhere around
83,
there.
something like that.
83,
Yeah.
yeah. So and the rest of that percentage by and large are Americans. So we are definitely very conscious that like a quite large portion of our attendees are American. We don't have any plans set in stone for how we would handle that kind of situation. We've been having discussions about like requiring like Canadian ID or all these different things like that, but nothing set in stone yet. But just we have already begun discussing our plans if that has to be a rule that's instated. So.
And it's one of the things that, like, this isn't just attendees though either, especially if the borders are still closed. We do have a number of American staffers.
We do, yeah.
So that is a bit of a challenge. Avalanche, bless.
Yes.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we're not going to be able to fix the border situation if it stays closed as it is now. So yeah, it's one of those things where we'll have to figure out. We've got some departments that are fundamentally like US-based staff, so we're taking a look. Some of those departments are already investigating into other Canadians that might be interested in helping them with their team, so diversifying and such. But I think, yeah, I think really coming down to the border itself is a challenge.
I think as well, like the big question people want answered too is that like if that were to be the situation, would we still have the con? And the answer is yes. Like by and large, like if the borders were still be closed, but Canada's in a good enough situation that we're allowed to host a con that big, yes, we would still host it. We would just have to take those things into consideration.
And to any international attendees that are planning on coming, I can only encourage, like, this is obviously something that we're going to be leaning very heavily upon government policy when it comes to that. And, I know that there's already some pretty strong restrictions in place at this time. But I can only encourage attendees, like, if assuming we're able to successfully and safely run a convention in the future, I can only encourage international attendees to follow all protocols that are in place. If you need to, quarantine or for a certain amount of time prior to our event, please do make sure that you're doing so. We don't want to do anything that is offside with the regulations that are going to be put in place with regards to international travel. So we really appreciate everyone's support in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great question for us. Thank you.
With the questions, I think that something that kind of extends off of this, couple down here. Someone curious that for the next FurCon, if a physical event is scheduled, would you still offer virtual options? So is there any possible consideration for maybe like a hybrid type of event?
I think
my dream is too. My dream is to, yeah. Like, I mean, if we learn lessons and if we get talented individuals in for managing this virtual element, I'd like to think we could still do things virtually. Like, I mean, we've done streaming for some time, but I think this is like a step beyond. And a lot of these, if we do builds of like hotel builds, I was talking to a great guy who has already put together the Westin just on a whim on VR chat,
Oh, yeah.
and just the amount.
yeah, Brian,
it's
amazing.
it's
Right.
great. And I'm like, oh my
Cool,
god,
that's so
it's
cool.
not. It's not. I was like, "Do you want floor plans?" He's like, "I've already built most of it. Don't give me floor plans." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair." So let's not spend extra work on that. But it's amazing
So
what
fun.
people are doing, and I'd like to think that we won't just like throw that away afterwards.
Mhm.
I don't see any
Mhm.
reason why we should. So
Mhm.
I think
For
it's
sure.
completely reasonable to say, I'd like people to be able to help support us on a virtual level too, because I really do think that's something that's going to start happening with cons. I think the ones that
Mhm.
pay attention to that part. We'll learn some
Okay.
lessons through this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Next question. All important, though I think we did already answer it perhaps a year or two ago. Is a woo legal?
I feel
Legal currently.
Listen, this is
Ban a
settled.
woo,
This was
legalize
settled in
nay.
2019. A woo is legal.
Ban a
This
woo,
is set-
legalize nay. Nay is
No, this
superior.
is settled. No, excuse me. This is settled law. This is settled law.
Thank you,
Listen,
Skylar. Laying it
shouldn't you be advocating for Ka? Okay, listen, quiet, Griffin.
There's no debate about CAW though.
Ban a woo, legalize nay. Nay is the only thing
Got a
that's
point.
legal.
Next question, Avalanche.
Okay, next question. So, just a more generalized question, not specifically to the event. How would you recommend meeting more furries in a physically distant way? Just want to get in touch with others and share interests in a fun but safe way, given
That's
the
a great
pandemic.
question.
This is a great question.
Yeah,
I
like it.
I mean, some ways that I can already starting out. I'm a huge gamer, and that's always a great way to meet new people. I met some of my best friends of my life through playing video games. Discord, what we're using right now to bring you guys this to talk to each other, is a great thing to do. As soon as this pandemic started, I created a Discord server for me and my furry friends, and we use it all the time to play games together and to chat and to one thing that I know my friend group and I were doing for a while is we did virtual movie nights where one of us would stream the movie on our Twitch stream, or you just all watch it at the same time, and you just get on Discord and it's as if you guys are in the room together watching a movie, and you just chat about it and rip on it and things like that.
Disney Plus has a group watch feature now built in, and I think there's a plugin for Netflix. So yeah, that's a
Fancy.
great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy those kind of things. A lot of people have been using VR chat now. You don't need a VR headset to play VR chat. You can play it outside of VR. But so many people I know are getting super into VR chat as a great way to just kind of feel like you're physically seeing each other.
Yeah. Pandemic's the only reason I touched VR chat, and I really enjoy the few times I've been on. So yeah.
I just want to throw a shout out also to some locals that are already kind of facilitating this work. I know Sparks and the team that runs the Oshawa Fur Meet. Fairly early on during the pandemic, they actually kind of converted their weekly fur meets over to VR, and I believe that they're meeting on Friday nights. So I just want to give credit to them for kind of taking the effort to bring their meets into a more virtual space. As Skylar said, it does not require a VR headset. You can navigate just fine with a computer and keyboard, and a keyboard and mouse. Yes. Yeah. So there's a lot of.
Sorry, go ahead.
And the reality is too, there's still stuff there's still stuff happening outdoors. I know we're kind of getting towards the end of warmer weather season, but I know some furries have been out there like engaging in some outdoor stuff like hikes and so forth. I know Avla, for example, who runs the Kerfluffles.
He's never heard of him in my life.
I know. Who's the
know.
guy? He's been getting out there with his unicycle a lot more, and I think his impressive thing was actually like going all the way to Niagara Falls on a unicycle.
Oh my god, he was exhausted when he got back.
I know, right? Yeah, I can imagine. Anyway, the nice thing with being outdoors is that COVID-19 is a lot more difficult to spread in an outdoor environment. So yeah, there's lots of options out there, and hopefully that provides some suggestions and inspiration.
I actually kind of want to go further into this topic a little bit. Like, as somebody who kind of like as a lot of people don't know this because I don't seem like it, but I only joined the furry community 2.5, 3 years ago now.
I think that's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew nobody. I knew nobody at all when I joined, and of course, but like, if you're having difficulty making friends, a really good thing to do is like I joined like every event group chat I could, and I just sort of like chatted with people to see who I was like compatible with friends wise and things like that. I always used the skills at my disposal to try to like get to know people better, which was volunteering and running things and putting together things on the fly, which is why I volunteered for everything I could, which is why I'm here right now as well. So there's always ways that you can sort of like, you can make new friends and get to know people, just starting really small, like being in like a Telegram group, and then finding somebody that you have something in common with and chatting with them outside of that is just really the best way right now during COVID. To kind of,
as Timmy mentions, people. And he provided a link to the FE Telegram, unofficial Telegram group, but the guys are all awesome in there.
Unofficial.
Yeah.
We distance ourselves.
With the link that's official to the channel, but it's unofficial.
Yeah.
Yep. They made one because we didn't have the time or ability to. So
right.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful thing. And Timmy,
absolutely.
Fantastic
hopefully
work.
That helps. Hopefully that
on,
helps.
buddy boy.
Hopefully that helps answer things.
All right. So we got that, and we got the chat plug. Excellent.
There's always time to bring it around.
Is there a cheaper price for a PC microphone? I don't even. This seems a little vague and perhaps a bit general.
I
PC
don't think we can help with. Yeah, I don't know if we can help with that piece. Maybe the Telegram group can help.
Yeah, that is definitely like a question for the Telegram.
Maybe the Telegram group can help.
I mean, I can say like the cheapest good option that's easy to use is the like Blue Yeti. Everybody gets that. It's like I think it's $100 right now.
For the is it time to bring it around town question, I'm admittedly not sure.
Okay, so I can answer this.
SpongeBob.
So what was happening? So these guys didn't hear it. You guys did. I have since fixed the problem. What was happening was that accidentally the FE YouTube account got linked with my Streamlabs account, and whenever somebody subscribed to the channel, it was playing on the stream my subscriber sound that goes off when somebody subscribes. Thankfully, it did not also play the image that I have set up of the GIF of SpongeBob bringing it around town, but it did play the noise, I was very embarrassed. But I have since fixed it, and it's not happening anymore. But yes, it is always time to bring it around town. Twitch.tv/Skylar.
All right.
Never time to not bring it around town.
Bring it around town.
Great.
Bring it around town.
Let's see. So next question here. With FE, if it were to get canceled again for 2021, can people still donate their reg?
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Well,
I mean,
know.
Kudos, absolutely.
We super appreciate it. I know that.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's not clear that it's still possible to refund, but that's why I pointed that out. But yeah, that's applicable as well. So great.
All right. Sales of swag.
What?
Christmas is a good gift-giving time. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Will sales of swag happen if we
That's
can?
the plan.
It says in the question.
It's well, we got some right here, and we got more coming. So
all right, we got the T-shirts and we got the pins, and I do have
coming.
Some pin pictures that I'll
buy your
try to
gifts early.
Yeah, so check that out.
Absolutely.
Who is Igley? Like the best brand manager person.
Very much agreed.
It's fantastic.
Very much agreed.
Super amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, she's not here right now.
I'm pretty sure she's in chat.
I did see Igley in chat earlier. Oh, yep, there we go.
Igley,
There she is.
hi,
Igley.
you're the best.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Okay. If FE does not happen this year, will the so we're still doing the same. Okay, this one looks like it's kind of redundant with some of the other questions. Well, the same retro theme. Yes, we're going to keep the theme, and then if not, is there a way? I know several people have been asking about getting the other swag delivered. I think, as far as I remember, you guys mentioned that we were kind of holding off until we actually had the event. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, like any current swag, any 2020 shirts and stuff like that, that will be for the next physical event, unless we suddenly decide to do something different. But I don't predict that. It makes more sense to stick it to the event though. So it's currently attached to that. So the con store items, the 2020 pins from the con store, those were a item that we were going to sell this year. It just made sense for us to do it now. But the shirts and things that are swag related, they're going to be attached to the following event. Ideally.
I see another question here that I can answer. So somebody asked, can we add captions to all online events, including this event if possible? The auto generated captions are better than nothing. Do you know what? That's actually a really good idea. That's actually, we're always looking to improve in areas of accessibility. There are definitely some programs that I can look into getting that create auto generated captions for live streams. But thank you very much for bringing that up. That's something that I and everyone else will look into in the future. Just make sure we have sort of like captions at the bottom to translate.
I believe this question comes from Tika, who heads up FE's accessibility department. So just a shout out. Just a shout out to Tika for the advocacy for accessibility and for continuously improving experience for those who
I've definitely I spent a lot of time watching Twitch, and there's definitely quite a few Twitch streamers I have seen that use quite good auto-generated captions. So I'm gonna try to look in and see what program they use, because that's a really good idea. I should definitely include that next time.
Yeah, definite shout out for that advocacy.
Yeah,
thank you
so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tika. Okay, so I didn't mean to skip over people there. I realized I had accidentally scrolled down a couple questions and just wasn't seeing the ones above it. So that explains that. So there's a question: have we thought about an online dealer's den?
Yes, although we're always interested in more feedback. We had some preliminary ideas we've been kicking around in the virtual sense, but if you've got thoughts, suggestions, if you've seen someone else do it differently, please let us know. So again, that virtual at FURNALEquinox.com, feel free to reach out there, and we'd love to hear any of your ideas if you have some.
I'll also weigh in on this as well. I know that Ivachu and CalmCon team are exploring the possibility of some more dealers and artists related programming in conjunction with kind of the usual Furno Solstice dates. So I would recommend reaching out to Keep CalmCon on Twitter. If you're looking for any specific like December dealers programming, I know that's something that they're very interested in doing, and we're certainly looking for opportunities to collaborate and support in that regard.
So we just answered that one. If FE were to happen when it's safer but COVID is still around, would we have to limit contact, basically hugs, safe hand washing, stuff like that?
This is sort of another question where we don't know yet. We don't know what that would look like yet because it's just too far off. In a weird way, fursuits are kind of one of the best ways to kind of keep social distancing and not spread germs, but also we're just not sure. Like if I don't know if we had to run a con under those circumstances, if we'd even want to run a con, an in-person con. Like if those regulations like had to be in place, we probably wouldn't be in a good enough situation that we would feel comfortable running a con.
I would say I've heard some I've actually heard some other events challenged with this as well, and places where they are in situations like this where they have to where they actually do have to run, or their guidelines or the government guidelines have been completely removed, etc. It's a scary thing. But they're talking about things like mandated masks, or things like even our initial plan when we were still trying to figure out things right before last year, we had sourced some sanitizer, we'd gotten some resources, we picked stuff up, we got some masks for our security team if they had to come into close contact with people to help with medical issues or something like that. So we had a lot of things that were kind of pulling out the stops for suggestions, but it'll be interesting to see where we're at and what the guidelines are, because those will largely dictate what we can and can't do. So yeah, it's a tricky thing. I think we're coming up with plans, but we're not necessarily cementing any of them because it's just so many possibilities right now.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, your fursuit is not a mask. At least not that.
Fursuits are not PPE.
No, you're right. Sorry,
your fursuit is not PPE.
No, you're right. Of course, I sort of meant in terms of like not bodies touching and things like that, like skin to skin contact. You're right. I'm sorry. You're totally right.
Okay, so we got that question answered. All right.
Doesn't block the air.
The con can open in limited numbers. Okay, yeah, that's kind of the same thing we just answered there. So this one, FE is paid year to year for expenses. Can you talk to how well FE is holding fund-wise? I'm expecting Weston is doing good by us and so on. And everything.
I'll take this one.
Sure.
So to kind of answer this question very simply and straightforwardly, we incurred a lot of kind of our annual spend before this past year's convention was canceled. That said, we also had a number of people that had kind of given us pre-registration money that unless people have donated or asked for a refund, we are still technically holding on to. From a cash in the bank perspective, we're still in a pretty good place. But I will point out as well that we acknowledge that the money that we currently have is effectively attendee pre-reg money that we have an obligation to deliver a convention on. We've run some scenarios in terms of what it takes for us to complete the con, so to speak. And honestly, where we stand right now, it's really a matter of engaging the hotel for the convention space, for food and beverage and that sort of thing, engaging our AV providers, and those are really the two major ones. You are correct that the Westin is doing well by us in this whole situation. The cancellation was not an issue, and obviously, considering the circumstances at the time, something that they were very much amenable to, and we're obviously continuing to have that conversation with them, but we're definitely in a place where we're continuing to survive, but at the same time, as we said earlier, we do have a little bit of a run rate going with ongoing expenses, even when we don't run a con. So we're okay. We're certainly okay, but we appreciate the ongoing support.
Okay. All right, so we'll check that one off as answered. Timmy asks, maybe a bit redundant, but if anyone has questions, ideas, or suggestions at any time, what are the best ways to get in touch? So I did drop the couple of emails in there for the virtual at FURNAL EQUINOX, as well as Solstice at FURNAL EQUINOX, pertaining to those specific things. But if you do have any questions in general, how best to get in touch with us?
Yep. The new website's going to have a little bit of a cleaner contact us form, which is similar to what we had before, but it'll be a little bit more self-service as opposed to having to copy an email address to another application. So that's coming up soon. But yeah, I think email is our preferred method of access. I guess if you're looking to get a hold of the AEO team, I think that's a little bit more. I guess that's a question for your preferences, Scanny, and how that would go about. Is there?
Yep. To answer that, for the AEO side, so anything not related, not FE related.
Not us specifically.
Not FE related in terms of outreach. Social media works. So we're AnthroEventsON on Twitter or Facebook. And we do have a generic email, aeo@FURNALEquinox.com.
I'm posting the link to Twitter right now in the
Thank you, Skylar.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And the link to our website is on there on our Twitter.
Why are you all looking so handsomely? I pay a lot of money to look this good, personally. I don't know about the rest of them, but
I had to sacrifice many souls to the devil.
Went that route. I see.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Yeah.
Because my webcam doesn't show my gray hair.
Gotta get that webcam with the gray filter. Let's get up there.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear.
What is the cheapest price for a VR headset? So I think just in general, kind of discussing with the VR, I know we've mentioned where you don't necessarily have to have a VR headset to take part in the VR if we are doing any of the VR events, but
isn't the Oculus down to like 400 like USD now? I feel like
assuming that you have no issues with Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because you have to.
Point.
Right, I forgot about that. You have to. You have to link it to your Facebook account now, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah, but no, VR is becoming more and more affordable every day, and it's crazy because I remember when VR first came out, it was like $1,500, like a VR headset.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The cost of VR has come down, and the cost of desktop computers that can effectively run VR is also going down too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep an eye out. Probably.
Mhm.
So yeah, our best guess would be around 400 right now. But yeah, if you just take a
honestly.
look, you can probably find.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Can I ask this question in brackets? You can.
You can,
Yes,
but I
have
can't
it
early
guarantee,
on.
but I cannot guarantee I'll give you this answer.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see what else we have going here. Okay, some wonder. While I'm sorting through the rest of the questions here, what's better, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
I mean,
Probably
cats,
be my
obviously.
answer, too.
Shut up.
2 versus 1. Motion passes.
Well,
Let's move on.
Wow.
I'm allergic to both, but I'm less allergic to dogs. So there you go.
Oh, that's
Dog.
fair. That's fair.
Okay, maybe I guess. Okay, 2-2 deadlock. No, we'll figure that out eventually.
It's even. Question about Zoom Furmeets. So
we're using Discord right now, not Zoom.
right, I know this is Discord. I was just gonna mention to Scanny. I know you
sorry.
mentioned there was some local group that was doing like Zoom Furmeets or something, wasn't it? Or what were those over Discord?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of a few. I'm thinking this might be interpreted in a few ways. So I'll try to good faith answer in which the ways I can. So the Oshawa VR meet is done through VR chat, I do believe. And Aiden, I'll let you kind of, in terms of virtual event exploration, I'll let you kind of answer what media we're kind of exploring for that piece.
Well, we've looked at VR chat. We've looked at a couple of other like hosting platforms. We don't we don't have a definitive. I have some ideas. There's definitely some conventions out there looking at different options as well. So seeing what they choose is helpful for us as well. I know that Megaplex used Hopin as a platform recently, and they did a pretty cool kind of individual roomed kind of sessionized kind of approach to doing an event. So there's lots of things out there. It's just a matter of figuring out what platforms we want to focus on, if we want to focus on platforms and what have you. So that's where all the information is coming. The information we're looking for is coming in. So we'll make some decisions based on what people's recommendations are, because we're no experts.
Of course. I think we're starting to run to the end of the list.
Yeah, we got a couple
here.
We're powering through them. I love it.
But, we're making good progress here. Avalanche?
Yeah, so just a note here. Just someone mentioned the former home for Effie was closed between April and September because of the virus. So, best thoughts for the Sheraton.
I wonder. I mean, to be, and this is just my, I don't know the story behind this, but I know that other hotels do tend to have been doing a lot of the closing temporarily, especially hotels that are airport based. I know that the MFF hotel, their big conference center hotel, it was closed for a number of months. They had 0 staff for quite a while, and it was, and I can imagine that'd be a very troubling position to be in. But I hope that most of those are more, we're setting our staff aside, we're going to keep the hotel closed, and then we're going to open back up again when we get business, because an idle hotel is probably better than a non-idle one. I hope that the Sheraton hasn't closed permanently, but I just recognize that that's also something I've seen hotels do. So it may just be a temporary thing.
I do want to acknowledge that the pandemic has been extremely difficult on the hospitality, travel, and tourism and event and conference industry. I know at the Westin, a lot of their staff, I believe, have been furloughed for the past several months.
I was there. I was there a few days ago, and there was one guy on the front desk, and we walked over and we're like, "Hey, we're walking around taking a look at the space," because I live downtown now. So, and he's just like, "Yeah, no, it's super slow, super slow."
Yeah, I know some hotels have been able to kind of recover through either providing isolation rooms for essential workers, or I believe that City of Toronto has partnered with some hotels to provide homeless sheltering, but it has been extremely difficult for the industry. We see ourselves as a furry con, but ultimately we're very much in the convention and conference industry, and it's tough to not be able to support that. So we're definitely keeping those folks in our thoughts, and certainly when we're in a position to recover, we see ourselves playing a role in kind of bringing those people back to work as well, because ultimately you build relationships with those, and so it's tough.
Yeah. Okay. Last couple questions here. Do we have an idea on when the deadline is to make a call on a physical convention? So
Not
kind
the
of a
week
tough
before.
one there, but
Not again.
just to say the least.
Not again. I mean, this one here, like I would say, if the optimism I have about having a definitive answer soon is not quite as optimistic, I would say the reason we pushed to January, February is because if we do have to cancel our, that's why we push the registration out there. It gives us enough time to get registrations spooled up and get people registered and all that other stuff. But also, if we do have to cancel, if we have to make the choice to cancel, the hotel still has time to potentially sell those rooms to other people, the ones that we've basically got assigned to us. So I would say we're going to be making the decision early year at the latest. I'm hoping that it's going to be earlier than then, but at the latest early year, so that we can, people aren't rushing to plan an event, or they're not struggling to cancel. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And the last
and one more question, I believe.
Yep. So this would be, I'm assuming, for in-person. If there were an in-person event to occur, how are you going to go about the dealer's den? I'm assuming this is having to do with like spacing.
We'd have
social
to,
distancing, stuff like that.
gosh, I mean, I'm not even sure, but I imagine just because of a room capacity issue and because it's a very popular room, we'd have to be like attendance counting, like counting the number of people in the room, not just a fire code, but like a percentage of fire code or whatever. So I'd imagine that would be physically related.
Yeah.
Virtual, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, physically, that would be my thought.
Okay. Yeah, that will do it for the questions, guys. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
the engagement here and kind of watching through this all. Appreciate it.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I just want to close by thanking everybody for their time and tuning in with us this afternoon, taking some time out of your weekends. I'm just looking out my window here. It's a beautiful afternoon.
It is,
We still got some fall colors out there, and hopefully we have some chance to enjoy some of that before we get into Canadian winter. Lovely. Oh wait,
Yes.
we have those. Right.
Mhm.
I know, you guys are haters. I love winter. I love being cold. I like snow. It's nice.
My name is literally Avalanche.
Are you sure, Skylar? Are you sure you're not a snap?
Listen, okay? I'm a unicorn. Unicorns be whatever they want. I have no rules.
You know what? I'll allow that.
I grew up in tropical, like extremely boiling hot weather. I'm all for winter.
So just to quickly recap today's session. So once again, Infernal Solstice will not be happening. If you are interested in helping us out, reach out to us on social media or send us an email. solstice@anthroeventsont.org. We'll summarize this afterwards. So don't
Yep.
don't
We'll
worry if you
be-
don't get it. Yeah.
We'll
we're
be
still-
posting something to the website shortly and sending an email as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
with links.
Yes, with links.
And we will try to get the social media updates up there as well for those that follow there.
I'm glad to see
Yeah.
I have all my winter supporters in chat telling me saying you guys are wrong. You're winter haters. I'm happy with that. Hell yeah, guys.
Yeah, for Fertile Equinox, still working on updates for FE 2021. We'll keep you informed as to how they happen. We are working on updates to the website and to our code of conduct in the meantime as well. We're also working on we're also exploring the possibility of a virtual event. So reach out to us at virtual@fernalequinox.com. If you have anything that you can contribute or have ideas or suggestions for us as we go forward.
Yep.
We have
Sounds great.
fundraising. We have we have T-shirts. We have pins. I won't make Aiden display the pins again.
That was so awkward. We got better pictures on the
That was
website.
kind of awkward. Yes, we will rely on pictures so you can see the prettiness of those pins in
Love it.
person. Please consider supporting us. Other than that, that's all that we wanted to share for today. We thank you again for your time in sharing this hour and change with us. Once again, I'll let my co-hosts share their farewells in a bit, but thanks again for all of your time. I hope that you continue to keep safe, stay well, be good to each other, wear a mask, keep 2 meters apart, all that good stuff.
Stay safe.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you coming in here and sort of and asking all your questions. And yeah, taking time out of your Saturday.
Aiden, Avalanche, any last words?
I'm good. I think we've said a lot of them.
Only other
But
thing
yeah.
I would say is if you want more info and stuff, you can always join the chat.
Yeah.
Timmy,
Yep.
rock on.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we also have the channel on Telegram too that keeps you
Sure.
updated with all of our social posts if you don't follow us on
If
either one of those two.
if you can't keep up with 1,000 messages
Right.
every 4 hours, kind of thing, yeah.
It's a lot of
It's not
info.
been that busy. It's been balanced. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So
Okay.
All right.
keep you all posted.
Alright.
All right.
I think
Thanks,
we're
everyone.
signing off now,
Take care.
guys.
Thanks, everyone. My thanks to Avalanche and Igley for their support behind the scenes. Thanks to Skylar and Aiden for their support as
And Azimuth.
panelists, and
Yeah,
Azimuth
Azimuth.
as well. I'm
Photography, yeah.
Scani. Have a great afternoon. Take care and be safe.
I'm gonna transition us out. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.